Okay, time to stencil with me. I have my block ready. This is the 4x4 for the summer kit. It's all ready. It's been painted. I've used just an older ivory paint from a previous project. It's a flat paint, nothing special. I covered my block. It has not been sanded yet. So you can tell, you can see some brush marks in this that will affect your stencil. So very important first step. After painting your block, letting this fully dry. Before you stencil, make sure that you sand your block. So sand it all sides. Okay, block is sanded. I like to take a dry microfiber cloth and wipe off the block. There is all wiped off. Clean surface, everything's smooth. I'm gonna wipe off my paper here without making a mess. Just to clean it up a little. Okay, clean, smooth surface. Here's my stencil again that I'm going to use. I like this side better. I'm going to take this stencil and do the back side, so I'll do that in just a minute. I'm just going to do the words for right now. So when stenciling, cut out the piece that you're going to use, peel it from the back. You don't have to dab it on a cloth to make it less sticky. It's totally fine to stick right here how it is. Okay, I'm moving it kind of a little bit so I can see. Okay, some people have trouble lining these up, but I'm lightly setting this on, and I'm going to look at this bottom edge and see how I can see Hello Summer is straight. Watch, the sunrise is nice up there, and I'm going to evenly press it down. Okay, nice and pressed down. Wiped it off. There's no sand, there's no nothing underneath. We're all good to go there. I'm going to take the black paint from our kit, squirt a little bit out in my tray that I have, and paint on the paint. Your paint, I used a dry brush. Sometimes if you're going back and forth drying, rinsing brushes, drying brushes, there'll be some water in your brush. The water could leak underneath. Too much paint, like I could literally slop all of this on here right now and it wouldn't matter. It'll still turn out just fine. The problem becomes when you have something that's not allowing this sticky surface under here to stick to your block. And that's either brush strokes, not sanded block, not a smooth block, or there's sanding residue left over. I have way too much paint on here, but I'll show you that it'll work, I promise. Okay, it's fully covered. Do not let the paint dry on here. Don't let this dry on here. A lot of times if you Google tips about stencils leaking, it's gonna say put a layer of Mod Podge on here. Do not do that with reusable mesh stencils. If you put, there's mesh in between here. If you put a layer of glue over this and let it dry, you're literally blocking the holes of the mesh, and then you're gluing your stencil to your board. So don't do that. That's not a good tip for reusable mesh stencils. That's a fine tip for vinyl stencils, but not reusable. So here we go. We'll just peel this off. There it is. Looks fantastic. And now my stencil can just be thrown in the water, which we will go and wash this. Okay, so I have our stencil here. My paint is still wet. Don't let the paint dry on it. If you let paint dry on it, the mesh will get clogged up and then it won't work again. So I'm just rinsing it here. Don't crumple the stencils up. Keep them nice and flat. And just gently rub off on the surface. Some people say to use like a magic eraser or some sort. It's not necessary. If your paint didn't dry on it, it's not necessary. This doesn't have to come off. None of that matters as long as your mesh part is all cleaned out and the back part is cleaned off as well. This will turn sticky again. It's rubbery right now. When you go to dry it, just set it face down on a paper towel or a towel to dry. When it's dry, you can stick it back on the paper backing and reuse it. Let's make the swings. So the easiest part, or easiest way to do this is to make a pointy part on the end here with glue. I'm gonna cut this leaf off so I can do this easier. But I like to take my hot glue gun, put some down here, and then lick my fingers, and then I roll this in my fingers. So just like the end of a shoelace, an egglet is what they're called. And then I'll easily be able to fish that through the string, just like that. So make your, just roll your ends. Super easy. That's how I like to do any of the beads or any stringing that I have to do. Just make a nice pointy tip with your glue. And there is the strings. Super cute. I'm going to just glue them right here on the bottom. I also find that I like to, for one, it won't burn you when you lick your fingers, but two, it kind of turns the glue, and if you can like flatten it, it just makes it look so much nicer. So right there, it kind of looks just much more finished. There's one finished swing. So that's a little tip for the swings, pretty easy. For all the little pieces that you glue on, just a tiny dab of hot glue. Glue them. It's really sunny right behind me, as you can tell. Okay, there's that guy. For the gnome, remember he gets a Velcro dot and it's switched out on your sign. You only have to put the I put the rough side on my 5-inch sign and soft side on my gnome. So do that each holiday. So then you just swap those out. So he's done. I needed to put my pieces of my barn on. This doesn't take much, and I like to be careful with this when I'm doing this because I don't like strings everywhere. They make me crazy. So I try to clean them out. The center of that goes right in the middle. Okay, this I can put a little bit more on if I just go fast. There we go. I find it much easier if you are going to sand these edges to do it once it's glued on. It's just will secure it much better than if it's loose, if it's not. If you do get some glue, take your X-Acto knife. Just cut that out. Easy fix. To clean that out, again, like I said, if you want to sand, do it once it's glued down. I like the little bit of a worn look. I'm not being very rough because I don't want to break it if there is a loose spot. Again, microfiber cloth is going to be your friend. It will clean all those spots out of there. If you need to touch anything up, of course you can still do that. Okay, there's the barn. This was super cute. I just did this in the stencil video, and then I added that to the back. way cute. I'm going to put the same print around, that's not the block, that's my sanding block, around this whole guy. So I'll show you how to do that. I was just waiting for my stencil to dry. But go ahead and place it. And I really like those little birdies, so I want to make sure that they get on there. Yep, and they're on there. So place it on there. And then with your stencil, just wrap it around those edges. You may have to do this kind of step by step. As far as, it does seem like it's working fine. This stencil may not be able to be reused again because I did tape it together, or they did stick together right there. But that's okay. I'm done with it as far as my project goes, so I'm okay if it can't be reused. But just do this at the very end. Okay, so now I can see these edges, they really have to be stuck down nicely. If there's any lumples, that's when you'll get paint that bleeds underneath. You don't want that. Just get these really stuck well. Okay, and I can paint this with you too. So just slop your paint on, but double check that there aren't any bubbles on the edges. It's so, these stencils are so cute. I just love them. They make such a difference. And I'm noticing the more I create tray stuff, everything should be double-sided. So make sure you double side when you can, just because you see everything from every side on the tray. So double side it when you can. So this is the back side of the quote block, and I just love being able to add something to it. All right, now let me pull this stencil off. It's hard to get a place to grab. Okay, there. Oh my gosh. So cute. Okay, I'm just gonna put it face down so it can dry just like that. And it does look like I can peel my stencil back apart. Yep. And wash it. If you wanna go from piece to piece, let me show you on this. I'm just gonna take my word search and show you. If you want to just keep going, this isn't sanded, so let me sand it really quick. Oops, and then I get paint all over it, of course. Okay, if you want to keep going between your stencils and not have to clean them, you can totally do that. I'm just going to stick my stencil down here, and instead of rubbing, I'm just going to flat pat it. I'm not going to rub at all, because when I rub, you'll squish that paint back and forth, and you won't like that. So again, it's got to all be patted down really well, or else it won't work. It'll bleed underneath. Here's the perfect example of double-siding something. This is my word search box, and I'll double-side it. Oh look, cute little stencil on my hand. Okay, where did my paintbrush go? There it is. This is kind of a small paintbrush to be painting this whole area with, but it'll do. Now this one, I'm brushing kind of and doing it pretty quickly. It may not come out as crisp and clean, as a fresh, brand new, perfectly, I mean, you saw how I just sanded, which was not very good. But you never know. I just love these two little birdies. But this will at least give something on our back. This wrinkle right here may cause some problems. We'll see though. Let's look. Pretty cute. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. There are some imperfections here. If you find you really don't like some, like I can easily fix this roof by just going like that with my X-Acto. Let those crumbs sit there till the whole thing is dry, and then you can scrape the rest off. You can see where I sanded with my one hand, and you can see where I didn't. Right down here in the corner, I did not sand. Okay, so sanding is like the thing to make sure these stencils work. I'm gonna clean up this little vegetable right here. This pear can be cleaned up a little bit. Another way you can clean up is just to take black paint and touch in those spots again. Okay, there's that. So, pretty simple kit. We didn't have too many difficult things to do. The swings are easy. My Hello Summer, I have not done it yet. I believe I'm going to spray paint this sucker. I'm just gonna find that's gonna be the easiest to get in the cracks. If you don't have access to spray paint though, I will show you this. You can take a brush and your paint and go like this from all angles, and that fills it in pretty good. And in fact, I might as well just finish it now that I started it doing it this way instead of spray paint. Yeah, so that works really well, just dabbing. And you can do it from the back. Again, the tray is double-sided. You see it from all 360 degrees, so cover it all. You may as well. It looks better. Do give your wood pieces a tiny bit of a sand before you paint them. It'll just give them a nicer finish in the end. I did sand this, got a little bit of the scraggly hairs off of it, but I can still tell there's some there. I should probably move this stuff away. Look how cute. So cute. Look at that. I love it. I should have done it on this one. Darn it. But look how perfect that makes everything. Look at these little birdies. Oh my gosh. Okay, back to what I'm doing. So, just dab and dab and dab and dab and dab. Don't drag your brush across, especially with a full paintbrush. If you're gonna drag, make sure it's a dry brush. If you drag with a full brush, you're just gonna pile paint into those corners. So when you get your brush wet, start dabbing. Just dab, 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 dab. Oh, yep, see, I splattered it. Gosh darn it. I have nice things. Get over there. I'll fix it in a minute. Okay, that's how I'm going to paint my Hello Summer. Chose to do it in white because I didn't want everything to be black. Yeah, it's not the easiest, but it's totally doable. Spray paint would be a lot easier. That's my tips for that. I think that's all of them. You see me painting this little mini truck. You guys have much bigger trucks. Those will be in your final kits, not this guy. Mine's just a little dude. He's our prototype. That's all for the summer. Tips and tricks. Enjoy.